Welcome to Impacting Jamaica, where we shine the spotlight on the many but often ignored positive happenings, activities, projects and investments at every level across every sector to inspire, motivate and excite people everywhere.
What led to your decision to become a Christian? And you did this at a very early age. So what prompted you to make this decision?
You know, it's a tremendous question. And as I reflect on my journey, I didn't plan to become a Christian. Immediately after graduating from high school in 1993, I decided to go to a youth camp with a friend of mine from school. The friend called me and said, Earl, there's going to be a New Testament Church of God youth camp. A whole heap of girls will be there. Let's go to youth camp, man.
Yes,
so I said, girls.
He used reverse psychology on you. Eh?
Yes, man. I said, girls, well, I'm going to be there. And so I went to the youth camp and we were actually checking out the girls for the entire camp. It lasted for a week. And then on the final day, which was a Sunday, just before we left the Monday, a pastor was preaching. He was the camp director as well. And my friends and I were at the back, you know, just playing around and, you know, just enjoying ourselves. And he was there preaching out his soul. And then he made an altar call. And I just found myself listening into him for whatever reason. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure why I started to listen to him. And he made a great appeal. And I just found myself at the altar. I surrendered my life, and it has not been the same ever since.
So you went to this crusade with the intention to check out girls.
Yes,
but then guess what? God checked you out.
I like that.
God checked you out, and as you mentioned, your life has not been the same since. Now,
Exactly.
when you chose to give your life to God, as you mentioned, you did so at the New Testament Church of God. Why did you continue in that denomination?
Yeah, that's a great question. You're asking some great questions. The youth camp was run by the New Testament Church of God. I didn't know much about the New Testament Church of God, to be honest with you. But because I liked the young people, I liked the worship, I liked what I saw. The camp director was a pastor in the New Testament Church of God. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to continue with these folks. So I decided to, after leaving the youth camp, attend the nearest New Testament Church of God to where I was living. And the rest, they say, is history.
Well, as history would have started somewhere, after you committed your life to God and you found this church, you're gonna tell us the name of the church, but you're gonna tell us also what were some of your early positions in the church, because you seem to have just blended in nicely after this.
Yes, I did blend in quite nicely indeed. The name of the church at the time, I think it still has the name, is the Georgetown New Testament Church of God, which was about roughly 10 miles or so away from where I was living. And I started to attend the Sunday school and the services. And I grew very fast. I grew fast spiritually in my understanding of doctrine and practice of the church. And so within 2 years, I was the youngest member to be elected to the church and pastors council of that church. And I was teaching Sunday school, teaching Bible study, preaching, and working in the youth department. I became the youth fellowship president around that time as well. So I was greatly involved in the church within basically no time.
And you decided that this is not where I want to stay. I want to go further in learning about God and contributing to religion. So you made a decision to come to Jamaica, land
Oh,
of
yeah.
wood and water. All right. So, what made you decide to come to Jamaica, apart from my just brief introduction? And was there much difference with your standard of living when you came to Jamaica?
Okay. You know, that decision to come to Jamaica, I wouldn't say it was a mystery, but you have to be a Christian who's in tune with God to understand fully. I was just propelled internally to leave for Jamaica. I didn't know much about Jamaica. All I knew was that the New Testament Church of God had a college in Jamaica called Bethel Bible College, and I wanted to study at Bethel. That's all. I can't say there was anything that prompted me to want to do it, anything external, to me at the time. I just heard about Bethel Bible College, and I just wanted to attend the college. I guess, many persons in church circles would say I was being led by the Spirit, and I would have to agree. I didn't want to stay in my community at all. I sat one evening and I looked at the community. I looked at all the youngsters and others drinking, getting drunk and gambling and all of that, going to dance hall. And I was overwhelmed with you might say sorrow. I felt sorry for them that they were wasting their lives. I started to cry. And I said to God, I don't want to stay here. I want to leave. And I want to live a better life and even return to have a great impact on them so that they can change their lives.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Impacting Jamaica. If you or anyone you know is involved with projects and activities that excite, motivate, and encourage, send us an email to impactingjamaica@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Do join us again for another in the series on Google Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and Stitcher. You can also visit us at impactingjamaica.com.